Welcome to another episode of The Gold Mine. I am your host, Casey Bell, and today's guest is Tony Selimi. Let's get the show started. All right, so first question I have for you, I see all that you do, all of your titles as far as dealing with business and entrepreneurship and dealing with finances. Was this a household you were raised in, or was everything you do now, was this something you learned along the way?
Well, my parents were restaurateurs, so I grew up in a farm, and pretty much both farming and entrepreneurship was something that I saw from a very early age, and observing my parents providing for the family, for the community, and being brought up in that entrepreneurial spirit, but in a place where education was only for wealthy children or children of a certain background. And my parents instilled in me how important is education. So therefore, I chose to be one of the best in whatever I was doing. And to both, I wanted to understand science, biology, technology, at the same time working in the farm and working in my parents' restaurants.
Awesome. So how did you get started exactly on the journey you're on now?
Well, I worked in the early 90s. I'm not sure if you remember, we had the Yugoslav War, Civil War. So I was taken from university straight into the army to fight a civil war that deep down I despised, but that my life was saved for whatever miracle, God miracle, people miracle, all of that. I ended up homeless on the streets of London. So I spent the first almost like 8 years working every job I could to educate myself. And then I pursued a career in technology, and I created an incredible career. And in 2009 and 2008, in the first financial crisis, after having gone from homeless to a very successful senior technologist, suddenly the back then financial crisis made me rethink all of this work that I have done. How is it possible that so many people can be impacted by external circumstances? And I wanted to really bring together 30 years of research study into methodologies that can help people transform their lives and transform businesses and the way we treat one another. So in 2012, I decided to run my own seminars, workshops, and start teaching people everything I've learned. As part of that journey, I did another MBA course, and I published my first book, A Path to Wisdom: How to Live a Healthy, Balanced, and Peaceful Life. Something that I observed during those crises, a lot of people were seeking, a lot of people don't have that inner peace, a lot of people don't have that work-life balance, and pretty much people in pursuit of entrepreneurship or wealth building and abundance building or other things in their life, they lose their health, their relationship. So that book became almost like, now it's been 14 times international bestseller, and still every year reaches that status. It helped me set the foundation of my business and integrating my knowledge when it comes to spirituality, when it comes to psychology, because I did a dual degree, engineering and psychology, and helped a lot of people around the world as a result. So that was the start of my entrepreneurial journey.
A very long journey. What would you say, if you can say, how many things did you learn as far as your lessons from being a soldier in the Civil War, as well as ending up homeless? What were some of the things you learned that allowed you to get to where you are today?
Well, I mean, we can have a long conversation about that, Cassie. It's because, I was in the war for 14 months. And every second in the war, it's a lesson. Just watching what's happening in Ukraine at the moment, for me, it's almost like a replay of that civil war, because we had similar thing happening in former Yugoslavia and the Serbian regime, which is, pretty much Russian. And, you learn to appreciate first and foremost every second of your life, because you don't know the next second whether you're going to believe or not. You start to learn lifelong skills of survival, how to survive in a place where, there's 99% chances of you dying. You heightened your intuition because, you know, you have to pretty much listen at all sides where the threat is coming. So my senses were developed to be able to listen afar. And then, you know, I learned to survive with almost 4 hours of sleep, sometimes 2 hours of sleep, and function the next day like I had 20 hours of sleep. I learned to appreciate life and, you know, that tomorrow may never come. So to live in a most empowering way in every second, rather than sort of thinking, if something happened to me, I wish I did this. So I've learned not to live with wishes, but to act upon what I'm here to do and help. Those are just some of the things.
Much for sharing all of that. I was actually going to ask you about the Unfakeable Code because the name very struck me. So you said it was about rising during a fall. Why exactly though did you call it the Unfakeable Code? What does that mean?
Excellent question, Casey. Well, just the way we have the retina unique blueprint that we have, or fingerprint, we as individuals, even our DNA is authentic to us. We pretty much are unfakeable, meaning nobody can copy you. Now, in a world where we put so many different masks, people try to copy other people and try to become other people, but not their true self. So the Unfakeable Code is about creating this code in people's minds that brings them back to who they are, while external, I would say, people who inspire us are extremely important to our lives. But it can also be toxic if that relationship is you want to become that person, but not the person who you are meant to be, which is extremely authentic. And I believe every human being has this authenticity built in from the point of birth, but we lose our way as we go through life and as we get conditioned in different societies, schooling, work, friends, experiences, and we forget who we truly are in our essence. So I wanted people to have those 5 principles they can hold on to and use them on a daily basis for them to be the unfakeable individual they were born to be.
Thank you for that. I wanted to ask if you could, for the sake of the entrepreneur, the person out there who is overwhelmed for whatever reason, maybe it's not the pandemic. Sometimes home life could cause someone to be overwhelmed at work. How would you suggest someone learn how to balance, as you said, living, loving, and leading in so work, home, leisure? How does someone balance that so they don't get to the point of wanting, contemplating suicide or wanting to just give up and go somewhere and never return? How does someone learn how to balance their life?
There are 5 things I talk throughout the Unfakeable Code, but also the rest of my books. The first one is clarity. You know, if you don't have clarity, there's no way you can get the second one, which is priority. Because if we need to prioritize our day according to what we want, first and foremost, we need to have the clarity of what we want. What is our vision? What is our mission? And most importantly, the third one, which is most people do not live by their authentic values. This is something I talk throughout the book, The Unfakeable Code, and how to clarify that. And it's very powerful questions throughout the book for people to do that. So if you don't have clarity, you don't have priorities. If you don't have clarity and priorities, for sure, you're not living your authentic values. And if you don't do that, clearly you don't have a very clear vision for your life. And if you don't have a very clear vision for your life, neither you will have a very clear purpose. And when you don't have those 5 things in place, pretty much your life will be dictated by the needs of others. And the other way around, when you put those things into place, you can first and foremost look after your needs. But when you feel fulfilled, other people will rub off from your positive energy and the things that you are doing. So in fact, you can actually inspire them to get in their own priority, in their own mission, in their own vision, so they too can live fulfilled life.
So my last question for you. So you seem to throughout your journey of learning and teaching, was there any one person, I'm sure there were many, let's just say one person who inspired you, whether it was an author or whether it was a coach, anyone who inspired you, and who is this person and why? And why would you suggest or recommend them to someone else?
Well, last part I'm not going to answer because this person is my mother who passed away in 2017.
Oh, okay.
My mother, despite all of the adversity, despite of the physical abuse she had from my dad's family, despite the expectation of raising not only 6 children, her own children, but also my dad's brothers and sisters who were young when my mother married him because his mother died. She remained extremely humbled and she worked 18 hours a day, and I never saw my mother complain, although I saw all of those physical, emotional abuse. She simply embraced everybody with love, hard work, and always believed there is a good in every human being, even those who hurt her.
Thank you for watching. This interview is not over yet. Continue watching the interview on The Ready Writer, airs March 27th, 2022. See you then. Thank you to our guest, Tony Selimi, and you, the audience, for watching. Have a great day.